Good morning. It's Monday, May 20th. Today there's two subjects that I want to discuss. The first one deals with Justice Alito and the upside down flag and what that really means to the Stop the Steal crowd. That flag is a symbol of what happened on January 6th. Now, Justice Alito denies having anything to do with the flag in front of his house. Apparently, it was his wife that put up the flag. But to me, it doesn't matter. It's in front of your house, and you are a Supreme Court justice. And that means you are totally impartial in very high-level situations, and in low-level situations, too. So it doesn't matter what you think. You cannot display an emblem that stands for something for a particular set of people who honestly believe that the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump. That is not the responsibility of a Supreme Court justice. It's known that this flag was flown right after the 2020 election debacle. We know that such a symbol should not be at the home of a Supreme Court justice. Certainly not after an election. This news came down as the Supreme Court is deciding on two cases related to the attempts by Trump and his supporters to overturn the results of the election. Now, decisions in those cases will affect the criminal election interference charges pending against Trump. And the Supreme Court justices are supposed to avoid politics. Now, Alito can say whatever the hell he wants about he had no business and he didn't do it personally and blah, blah, blah like that. But he's a Supreme Court justice and he has to have ethics, even though the court doesn't have a code of ethics. You cannot, as a Supreme Court justice, do anything that indicates that you have a partiality in any particular way. And so Alito has disgraced himself and disgraced the Supreme Court. And if you think I'm talking out of my hat, you're crazy. Because the Supreme Court has to be so clean that their decisions can never be interpreted as some form of favoritism, even though this Supreme Court is supremely conservative. And and I don't agree with many of the decisions that this court has gone to and is going to, but we're stuck with them. And when we have one justice who allows himself to perpetrate a visual event that tells people where he stands, because even if his wife put the flag up, he stands behind her. He stands with her. And that's a terrible situation. It's a terrible situation when we have Clarence Thomas on the court doing similar things. So the Supreme Court, in my mind, has now gotten another huge black mark. And that's all I'll say about this right now. Now, this next story is as good as it gets. Now, this took place at the commencement exercise for the graduates of the NYU Law School. There was a protest going on, an anti-Israel protest, filled with vile hatred and vile signs. A group of protesters were on the stage waving flags and banners and posters and everything. The dean of the law school, who was attempting to get the commencement exercise under control, to make his opening remarks and ask those protesters to leave the stage. But they didn't leave the stage. They didn't want to leave the stage. And it looked like for a while the whole commencement exercise was going to go into the toilet, so to speak. But then a strange thing happened. One of the graduates, who was there with her husband and her 3 children, came up to the stage to receive her diploma. She was carrying one baby in her arms, and the 3-year-old girl and her older sister were walking alongside her. And when they got to the stage, the 6-year-old girl bravely raised her hands and showed a drawing that she had been working on while the whole commotion was going on. And the 6-year-old bravely held up a heart, a picture of her heart that she had drawn. And this brought the audience to its feet, cheering and applauding. She got the biggest applause of anybody that entire day. She saved the commencement exercise from a disastrous ending because her simple showing of a heart implied to all of them that this family was standing by the Jews. They were Jewish, and they were standing up for Israel. And she had love in her hands, not hatred that was being spewed by the protesters. And so she got the biggest ovation at that ceremony. And at the end, when her mom was finished with getting her diploma, she handed the heart, the purple-colored heart, to the law school dean, Troy Mackenzie. And that changed the entire mood of the ceremony because she got the biggest applause, and everybody out in that audience, no, I won't say everybody, and most of the people in the audience knew that this child had given them hope, that she had produced an effort that put all of those poster people and all of those others out there demonstrating against, put them all to shame with a simple drawing of a heart, a representation of love. And so there's credit to her mom, a mother of 3 who went to law school and graduated. And her dad should be very proud parents of this young lady. And we in this country, if you get a chance, you should read this story and look at the little girl on the stage holding up her heart. It's one of the great moments in our recent history. So I leave you with that this morning. One story not so good and another great story. Have a great day. Bye.